Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob and really glad you joined me. Thank you. In our most recent post, we started an exercise which we called our Who Am I map. And I hope that you still have it with you. I asked you to hang on to it. I want to review it today with you and then we're going to expand on it together. You'll recall that I asked you in that exercise to, first of all, identify characteristics which you see to best represent who you are. Then I asked you to flip it around and to connect each of those items with its opposite quality. I gave the example of you're kind on the one hand, then I asked you to connect it to being mean on the other, and to draw a line between them inside and outside the circle. Does that jog your memory? Finally, I asked you to locate how each item feels to you, both the first items that you think really represent your qualities and also the opposite of those qualities. I asked you to locate any body tension that you might be able to identify that's associated with any of these qualities, as well as any of their emotions, particularly as they attach to the so-called opposite of you items. What did you find? I'm just curious what came up for you coming up with these pairs of opposites. For today, what I'd like to do is go back and examine what we're calling these opposite of me qualities. I wanted to ask you a question. Did you find when you wrote and then reviewed each item that at least some of them were associated with some sense of inner reactivity inside? It could have been tension in your body which arose. It could have been some sense of a negative emotion which you became aware of. What I want to say here is what we're getting at is a much more granular, much finer tuned level of acknowledging what we've been talking about throughout your Vitality Project, which is about the inner requirements that most of us hold within ourselves. And particularly for those half a dozen or so opposite of you qualities, it may well be that you had a reaction. And I'd like to ask you to see if you can generate in a single phrase, an associated requirement that you might place on yourself. For example, the example I gave of maybe the opposite of you would be to be mean-spirited. What's the requirement that comes up for you when you even feel into that? It might well be that I can't be mean. I can't ever be angry. It could be something like that, whatever the requirement is. I think it can be very helpful to see where our edges are, our leading edges, in terms of feeling okay about ourselves. We've discussed this previously, and I'll say it again. Our inner requirements can actually become major sources of stress for us, which ironically wraps around where when we're in that stressed state, owing to the pressure that come from inner requirements, it may actually leave us less capable of accessing our best selves. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. So round and round the mulberry bush we go, right? I'd like you to do this exercise, and please come back because we'll be adding some more practical insights, even beyond what we've done so far in our next post. And we'll be continuing to examine and explore into this whole topic of realistic self-esteem in relationship to inner requirements. Thanks again for joining me. Hope that you'll stay well and healthy between now and when I see you next, and come back and join me again soon.